Good evening. We're back with more Marvel Champions, and this evening will be another Hero Spotlight. Next up is Nova, Sam Alexander. We'll take a quick look at the deck, and then we'll dive into the games. It's a leadership deck, somewhat similar to the Scarlet Witch leadership deck, with some notable changes. We have the addition of Moon Girl, an ally that can only be played if your identity has the champion or genius trait. It is very, very strong. She is a very, very strong ally, even stronger than White Tiger. Can very easily draw 3 cards when you play her for 3 cost. And then we have the card Regroup from the Drax Hero pack. When an ally is defeated by an enemy attack, return it to its owner's hand instead of discarding it, which means we can then replay Moon Girl from the hand to get the card draw again, as the response only goes off when you play Moon Girl from hand. In addition, we have Go for Champions, a recently errated card, which nerfed it. Each champion character in play cannot take damage until the end of the round. Very strong card. It's been errated to say removed from the game after you play it. I don't agree with that errata at all. Doesn't have much of an effect on solo play though. And then we've got a couple of other champion allies to take advantage of Go for Champions. We've got Ironheart, we've got Spider-Man Miles Morales, and we've got Vivian. So let's take a look at the gameplay and see how Nova does. By way of comparison, Scarlet Witch was able to get through Rhino on Heroic 1 without too much trouble. And she was also able to get through Absorbing Man. But she failed on Crossbones, and I would have her ranked in probably the B plus A type tier, is where I would put her. Above average, well above average, but nothing exceptional. So we'll see how Nova does. The key to Marvel Champions is resource generation, and Nova has his Supernova helmet for resource generation, which typically allows for at least 1 extra resource per round. And we can grab that with an alter ego action. So here we're going to mulligan. What do we want to mulligan? Go for Champions isn't very good in the opening hand, though it is a wild resource that can be used for the Supernova helmet. And the other cards are fine. We got Moon Girl, that's great. That is a great start. And now I am wondering, what should I do about the Supernova helmet? And I'm thinking probably play Moon Girl using 3 science resources and draw 3 cards. Power on all of us and make the call. Power on all of us being wild. But I'm having a debate with myself about what the best course of action is. And now I'm going to discard Pot Shot in order to go grab Supernova helmet. And then I'll use Miss Marvel to play it. Flip to Nova. And use a Supernova helmet resource and Power on all of us to play Moon Girl and draw 3 cards. We'll use Nova to thwart for 1. That's going to ready up the Supernova helmet. And getting out Avengers Mansion would be a pretty good option. Keep Force Field Projection. Use the Mansion to draw a card. Picked up Unleash the Nova Force, which is great. And then we'll go ahead and draw 3 and ready up. Nova can have some pretty complicated turns with the Supernova helmet and Unleash the Nova Force. The attack will take out Moon Girl, and then we got 2 encounter cards coming in, which would be False Alarm for a Confuse on Nova and Crowd Control. So we'll start out the hero turn drawing a card. Last Stand was a card that I was thinking about trying out for Nova. Didn't really like it. And so it doesn't make it into future iterations of this deck. I was looking for a replacement event for United We Stand. And I thought I'd try out Last Stand, but I can't say I cared for it. I thought that it was very strong. So we'll get a light speed flight. I'm thinking about the turn here because it could be an Unleash the Nova Force turn, and I decide that it is. So I Unleash the Nova Force and then light speed flight. Paid for the Unleash the Nova Force with Blast Stand and then the light speed flight with the Supernova helmet. And I removed the last threat from the event, so I get to ready up Nova. I decide I'm just going to keep Unleash the Nova Force on the table for now so that I can remember to make use of it. And once Nova goes ahead and attacks, we can ready the Supernova helmet. And since that was the last threat, we can go ahead and ready Nova again and draw a card. And then probably get off a pot shot with the Supernova helmet. And play a rapid response, even though I don't have a target for it right now. And attack for 1. A decent Unleash the Nova Force turn. Anytime you get more than 1, it's a pretty good Unleash the Nova Force turn. So one threat is going to be an attack on Nova. Probably will be using Force Field Projection. So we'll use Force Field Projection to prevent the damage. 3 of it anyway. Still take 1 damage. And deal 3 in return, thanks to using a wild resource, which was the Supernova helmet. 2 cards are going to be Hydra Bomber and Charge. So Nova generates at least 1 extra resource per round. But on Unleash the Nova Force turns, he typically only generates 1 extra per round. Now, 1 extra resource per round is better than nothing, certainly. That alone is not enough to get a hero to elite status. And Unleash the Nova Force turns happen inconsistently. They're very strong when they happen, but they happen inconsistently. So Nova can tend to tread water for a while in solo play while he waits for a big Unleash the Nova Force turn. And that can lead to some longer games. The quality of his events is not very good. They are adequate when you use a wild resource to pay for them, but otherwise a little lackluster. So we're going to flip to Alter Ego here, as I don't want to eat the charge and a Hydra Bomber attack. I was hoping to draw allies that I could then play this round, and then I'd be better equipped to deal with the board at that point. So we got we're in a tough spot here with 6 out of 7 threat on the quest, no board, and the boss has a minion and a charge set up. But I do have a strong hand. Beast, White Tiger, Nick Fury, these can make for a very big turn, drawing a lot of cards, cycling through the deck, hopefully getting to a Unleash the Nova Force for even more resources. I'm just thinking about how I want to pay for everything. And so I get Beast out. First White Tiger, which draws 2 cards, then Beast, which grabs me a resource, and then Nick Fury, which can draw 3 more cards. And there's an Unleash the Nova Force, so this could turn into a pretty strong turn. Even though the boss has a charge, a break-in has 6 out of 7 threat, still looking at a very strong turn. So we get out Unleash the Nova Force and can deal a damage. I'm thinking about how I want to do this so that I could get as many procs of Unleash the Nova Force as possible. So ready superhero helmet up. Use pot shot to take out the bomber. So then that procs Unleash the Nova Force. And can deal 1 damage, and that will ready Supernova Helmet again. And then I could just go Thwart for 2 on the break-in and then use Lightspeed Flight. And that'll get another proc of Unleash the Nova Force. And ready Nova. And then we can just get in 5 damage on the boss. I could use Supernova Helmet and Connection to the World Mind to play Ironheart, but these allies that I have out are all pretty good. And I don't really want to throw one of them away to play Ironheart. You could make an argument for throwing away White Tiger, though, at this point, for Ironheart to continue cycling and get Connection to the World Mind and Ironheart out of hand. Now here I should have drawn 2 extra cards because Connection to the World Mind does not count against your hand size. I haven't realized that yet. So the charge goes off and that does a lot of damage. Here I realize I should have drawn 2 more cards. And then we've got 3 total encounter cards coming. Shadow of the Past. And that brings in Bring the War. So discard 1 card that I control with a printed resource, a printed wild resource. I'm actually not certain now that I read that card's text. Discard a card that you control. You do control cards in your hand, right? I don't have any cards with wild resources on the board, so if you're supposed to discard 1 from the board, I didn't have any. So we're having big turns as the hero, but the boss is also having big turns with the Warbringer and Weight of the World. So I'm going to get rid of Bring the War with a Lightspeed Flight. I can't ready Supernova Helmet for as long as Weight of the World is on the table. And I got a Warbringer to deal with as well. So here I decide retroactively. I don't think I should have been able to do that though, because I'd already revealed RNG elements. I was thinking I should use Rapid Response with Nick Fury to draw 3 cards. The issue with that is that, well, Nick Fury would leave still at the end of the round. But that would have happened before the encounter cards that I saw. And so probably I shouldn't have retconned that. I'm not playing with anything at stake, but I want to get as honest an evaluation of the hero as possible. And I typically don't retcon things after I've revealed RNG elements. I figure it's fine to retcon before any RNG elements have been revealed, but it already revealed what the encounter cards were, so probably I shouldn't have retconned that. And in any case, Nick Fury should have left at the end of the round. So here we go with Nova versus Rhino on heroic difficulty. Our previous Hero Spotlight hero, Scarlet Witch, was able to defeat Rhino and Absorbing Man, but struck out on Crossbones. We'll see how Nova does. He can, I would say, on average, generate more resources than Scarlet Witch, so I would expect Nova to do better. Maybe not by a lot. but generating resources is the primary thing that separates heroes from each other in Marvel Champions. So let's get our hand. Moon Girl in the opening hand is great. I don't need to keep Supernova Helmet. I'll consider it though, because I don't have a second wild resource. So we'll probably just keep it. I don't think I need Miss Marvel in my opening hand though. Okay, so we don't need the alter ego action. We'll go ahead and go 1, 2, 3 for Moon Girl. That's 3 science resources, so we can draw 3 cards. And then we'll get out Supernova Helmet. And do I want to unleash the Nova Force here? I think I do. Even though it's just going to be draw 1 card, I prefer it to keeping Unleash the Nova Force in the hand. First we'll get out Maria Hill and draw a card. And we'll use Supernova Helmet with Unleash the Nova Force. And we'll go remove 2 threat, remove 1 threat. That's going to draw a card, ready the helmet, ready Nova. Well, not productive card draws, unfortunately. And we'll go 1, 2, 3 damage, and got nothing to spend the extra resource on. So we'll just go ahead and I think we'll throw away Avengers Mansion and keep Nick Fury, and we'll draw 4. So 1 threat, 1 attack, and that attack will go on Moon Girl. We have regroup in hand. Let's put the attack on Maria Hill. 2 encounter cards since we're on Heroic 1. Master Plan. It's a lot of cards discarded. Second encounter card is the Ivory Horn. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick Fury and draw 3 cards. We can use Nova and Nick Fury to remove Bomb Scare, ready the Supernova Helmet, and we'll use that to play Regroup, and we'll use Connection of the World Mind, Rapid Response for Ironheart. Draw a card, I'll keep that, and then we'll deal 1 damage and draw 4. So 1 threat, 1 attack from Rhino on Nick Fury, 2 encounter cards, toughness for Rhino, and heals. So Nova does generate typically 1 extra resource per round. 1 extra resource per round isn't really enough to overwhelm heroic quests, even the lower difficulty ones like Rhino. So Nova tends to tread water a lot until he gets his Unleash the Nova Force turns. He can have some very big turns with Unleash the Nova Force. I should have drawn an extra card because of Connection to the World Mind. It doesn't count against the hand size. So let's go ahead and go... Oh right, Regroup is going to bring Nick Fury back into the hand, or else it would leave when the round ends. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Beast. Nick Fury again. And we'll draw 3 cards. And then we'll play Beast for 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab a resource card, and the resource card I'm going to grab in this scenario is Connection to the World Mind, because I don't have anything to spend 2 resources on, and Connection to the World Mind doesn't count against me if I hold it in my hand. Go ahead and Supernova Helmet to get Regroup into play, and then we'll go 1, 2. But first, before I play Beast, I need to retire Ironheart. Otherwise, she's going to go to waste. And then Nick Fury for 2 damage and Nova for 1 damage. And we'll draw 4. And we'll go one threat, Rhino against Nick Fury. And once again, we'll bring him back with regroup, which this actually stays on the board, so that isn't often applicable, but it can be when a boss gets a second attack. And actually against Heroic Rhino, that does happen a lot. So we could potentially return another ally to the hand. This card really scales up well against heroic quests when you have multiple attacks. Scales up well against in multiplayer as well. It's very, very strong in that context because you can bring multiple allies back to hand, so it's generating multiple resources per round. So after Nick Fury returns to the hand, we have 2 encounter cards coming in. It's going to be Stampede, so that's going to bring back Moon Girl. And then under Fire, which is going to Stampede again. And in this spot, I'm going to bring back Beast as well. Let's return everyone to the hand. And then one more from under Fire. Should be Armored Rhino suit. And we're all set. Under Fire, Stampede. Yeah, that was a lot of attacks that cleared my board, but at least they all returned to hand. And then when the round ends, discard, regroup. So let's go ahead and play. This is going to be an Unleash the Nova Force turn. We can go 1 resource for, well, how do we want to pay for Moon Girl? This is going to be an interesting turn. Let's go Unleash the Nova Force. After we unleash the Nova Force, let's use Nova to finish off the break-in. That readies Supernova Helmet, that readies Nova, and draws a card. Then we can go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not going to be able to play all of these allies. So which one isn't getting played? Probably Beast. So we can go 1, 2, 3 for Moon Girl and draw 3 cards. Can use Connection to the World Mind for a pot shot for 4 damage. Nova for 5. Ready Supernova Helmet. Want a pot shot again for 4 damage. Want to go 1, 2, 3 for White Tiger and draw 2 cards. Should I go for Champions here? Get a free attack for Moon Girl. It's not a bad go for Champions. But I'd much rather regroup again, I think. So I'm going to spend Go for Champions for regroup. And I'll just keep the rest of my hand. Then I'll go 1, 2, damage, and then draw 3. Because regroup with Moon Girl is so powerful. So 1 threat, 1 attack on Moon Girl. It's going to bring Moon Girl back to the hand. And then we got 2 encounter cards, so 3 total. A charge, Hydra Bomber for 1 threat, and Sandman Okay. And then the regroup will leave. And go 1, 2, 3 for Moon Girl again and draw 3 cards. One, 2, 3, 4 for Nick Fury and draw 3 cards. Do I want to unleash the Nova Force here? Sure, let's do it. Unleash the Nova Force. We can go connection to the World Mind for Lightspeed Flight. First I'm gonna remove the toughness from Sandman. And then we'll connection to the World Mind for Lightspeed Flight. Ready Nova, draw a card. You can go 1 damage on the Hydra Bomber. Supernova Helmet for Pot Shot. Ready Nova and draw a card. Then we'll kill the Hydra Bomber. Ready Nova and draw a card. Go 1, 2 for rapid response. First let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 and drop Rhino into phase 3. And that's gonna stun Nova, and then we'll exhaust him to get rid of the stun. And that's gonna be that. We'll draw 4. Force field projection is kind of anti-synergistic with Ally Swarm because using force field projection to block allies from taking damage doesn't typically that effective. They usually still die. You can use force field projection just for damage, but it's a little bit inefficient to do that. Anyway, 1 threat, and we'll have the Rhino attack go on Nick Fury, even though it's going to overkill. It's for 8 right now, 9, 10. So it's 8 more damage. Now is a good time for force field projection. So it's 5 more damage. And then retaliate for 3, which just removes the toughness. Removes charge. I'm gonna rapid response Nick Fury back into play, even though he leaves at the end of the round. I want the 3 card draw. Or maybe I should have chosen the 4 damage instead, but too late now. And then we have 2 encounter cards coming. It's going to be an acceleration token. Usually you want to beat Rhino on Heroic 1 before you get the second acceleration token. So we're on a good pace. Add a Confuse, no Bomb Surge in play, or no Bomb Scare in play, and then we got a Hydra Bomber. So no problem. Nick Fury leaves at the end of the round. So does Unleash the Nova Force. And we're going to Unleash the Nova Force this round. Let's attack for 1. Ready the Supernova Helmet. That 1 attack should go on Rhino. Given my hand, I don't think I'm going to attack Rhino for 1. I'm going to reduce or thwart for 1. And we'll use Jesse Alexander to Unleash the Nova Force. Supernova Helmet for Pot Shot and take out the Hydra Bomber. Ready up and draw a card. Go Clue. Look at the top 5 for an event. No events already. Well, thwart. No, we can't thwart. He's confused. We'll just deal 1 damage. Go. Ready the Supernova helmet, and then go 1, 2, 3 for Spider-Man after using White Tiger. Give Spider-Man +2 attack. Then we'll draw 5. There's a regroup, but it's probably too late. 2 threat, 1 attack on Kalu. 2 encounter cards. Hydra Merc and Thunder Fire. Gang up, the villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Well, that's gonna need to go on Moon Girl. And then Hydra Merc for 1 damage. And then Stampede. That's gonna probably need to go on Spider-Man. Okay, that was a rough turn. One, 2, 3, 4 for Beast. Grab a resource card. And then play Vivian. So we can blank this Hydra Mercenary. Doesn't do a lot of good though. Still gonna defeat it. 1, 2, 3 damage. We'll use Nova for the 3rd. Vivian to... No, I don't want to use Vivian to thwart. We'll just deal 1 damage. We'll draw 5. Hopefully the game will end after this turn. My deck is out of steam a little bit now that Moon Girl regroup combo has stopped. So Rhino will attack for 5 against Vivian. Got a toughness, that's not a bad card. And then charge, that's fine. So let's play Genius for Maria Hill. Ironheart. Not very good draws. I may just need to thwart and then go down into Alter Ego to hide from that charge. I'm not sure I can survive it otherwise. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And get a rapid response into play. Going to use Supernova Helmet for that. So, because Connection of the World Mind doesn't hurt me in my hand. Then we'll flip over to Alter Ego and heal. And draw 6. There's Moon Girl again. Alrighty, so 1, 2, scheme for 2. 2 encounter cards. Hard to keep down, that's 4 heals. Breaking and taken. And that's a blank surge since he already has tough. Blank surge. Hydra Merc. Okay, I don't think I can finish him off. Nova generates a lot of resources when you are able to replay Moon Girl over and over. However, his events are weak. He doesn't have a lot of damage, so the games can tend to drag on for a while he tries to find lethal damage. And I don't think I have it here, even with 3 allies on the board. We'll flip over to Alter Ego. I'm gonna get that confusion off. And then we'll go ahead and Lightspeed Flight, I think. And we'll go 1, 2, 3 damage. Let's go 1, 2. And this is the turn to go for champions because it'll eat the charge. So let's go 1. 2, 3 for Moon Girl and draw 3 cards. One, 2, 3 to go for champions. Then we can attack with Ironheart for free. We'll attack with, or we'll thwart with Maria Hill. And attack with Moon Girl for free. Remove the toughness, and then we'll go ahead and draw 4. There's Spider-Man, that'll help with damage. So we got 2 threat, 1 attack, which can just face tank because champions cannot take damage until the end of the round. Shocker, champions cannot take damage until the end of the round. Or champion characters, and then we get another charge. Can we just deal 11 damage here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we cannot. Oof. Let's go 1, 2, 3 for Spider-Man. Give him +2. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll get out of regroup. Discard Miss Marvel and draw 5. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can I actually survive this? Let's give Rhino 2 damage back and 4 for 2 instead with Moon Girl. And then flip over to Alter Ego and draw 6. I'm not sure I survive. Just 1 threat. I could have lost there if he got a boost of 2. Caught off guard. Okay, we'll get rid of regroup. So I wouldn't have played regroup if I had thought ahead a little more. Weight of the world. Okay, here we should be able to just end it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, as it stands right now, I cannot end it. We'll flip. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3 for White Tiger and draw 3 cards. Okay, there we go. Pot shot for 4. So, a long game. Much longer than the Scarlet Witch one. Because Nova cycles well, generates resources with Unleash the Nova Force turns, but with the Leadership Nova deck, he relies on allies for damage. And that can make for some long games where you're in control of the game, but it takes a long time to win. He is very fun, though. And he took longer, but I think he's more versatile and ultimately more powerful than Scarlet Witch. We'll see how he does on future scenarios, which we'll split into a couple of videos, probably one more video after this of just gameplay with Nova. So that'll be all for now, and thank you for watching.